Hey, my shout out today is for balsamic.com. It's awesome wireframing tool that's going to make your life easier. Work faster and smarter. Balsamic.com.
So today, I have the opportunity to interview someone who does not live in San Francisco. And the good news about having an online community and working with moms is that I get to meet all types of moms all over the place. And today, I get to speak with Tatiana Tugbaeva. And, she contacted me through a little email and said, I want to be mom. Like, I want to be interviewed. I want to be mom of the month. And I thought, wow, this is fantastic. I get to hear a new mom that I don't know, and we get to look at her business and find out more about her. So today we have Tatiana. Hi, Tatiana. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, of course. The first question I like to just kind of get right into is, tell me who you are, uh, tell us who your kids are, and tell us what your business is.
Okay, I am sort of a new mom, I guess. I have two little girls. They're 4 and 1. And when my older one was about 9 months, or I guess since her birth, I always loved dressing her up and
Mm-hmm.
getting all these like cute outfits for her. And of course, as a mom, it was really hard for me to get out of the house
Yeah.
with her very often. So I would always go online to look for things. And I kind of found it hard to find the outfits that I really liked all in one location, like like in one boutique.
Sure.
And so at some point, my husband Peter was laid off from his job, and then we kind of thought about it a little bit, and we decided instead of him going out there and trying to get in another job, we kind of took it as an opportunity to start a family business.
Fantastic.
And we opened an online kids clothing boutique, mostly for little girls.
Mm.
Well, now we're going up to ages 14, but it started as a baby boutique.
Wow.
Um, and so it kind of grew with, our customers, and their daughters are getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's how it started. It's called My Little Jewels. It's named after our older daughter, Julia, Little Jewels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what we do. We carry beautiful, unique girls' clothing that you can't really find anywhere else. And that's how, what it is.
That's what you do. And
Yeah.
so, what I heard is that you couldn't find what you were looking for all in one location, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the obstacle, the
Yeah.
challenge, right? So you created a business that you put all your great, like all the things that you wanted, how you wanted to dress your little one, in one
Yeah.
spot to make it easy for moms.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
idea. I love that. And now you're going all the way up to age 14. Heck, why not? Right?
You know,
Why not?
little girls love to dress up, no
Yep,
matter how old they are. So,
that's true.
yeah.
When you started the business, how old were your little ones?
My older one was 9 months.
Oh, so this is, oh, wow.
Yeah. So the little one, she was kind of in the planning,
Yeah,
but she wasn't with us yet.
very good.
Yeah, that's why we kind of started as a baby boutique, because we had a baby,
Sure.
and then we saw that people want bigger sizes, and we kind of expanded with that.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And did you have, I mean, this is like the one of the most favorite questions is, did you have help or care, like, do you have family or did you have a nanny to come in and help you? Or were you like super mama and you did it all?
I wish I was a super mama. I mean, I like to think of myself as that. Up until a certain point, we did it, just the two of us
Mm,
with the baby.
wow.
When we just started, and I was doing my master's at the same time.
What?
Yes, and then at some point I realized that masters had to be, put on hold because the business grew so fast that I just
Mm,
had to dedicate, all of my time to it. And then we were lucky enough to find a good friend of ours
mm,
who, started coming out a few hours a day to help us with the baby. And then eventually, when Julia got older and she started going to daycare,
mhm.
our nanny joined the business, and she's our shipping manager now. So she's been with us from the beginning, and she kind of, stayed with us. Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that. I love that. So how long, let's talk about how long it took you. So you had this idea, I want to put this business together. So how long did it take you from that aha moment to actually launching the business?
I'm kind of a hothead, so I need to get everything done right away as soon as, I get the idea. So I think we registered our business. We kind of decided to start our business at the end of July of 2010.
Okay.
We registered it at the end of August, and then in November is when our website was launched. So it took us about 3 months to, find brands to work with, kind of get inventory, and get the website up and running. So it was, yeah, it was pretty quick. We kind of just dove into it.
That is crazy. 3 months? Okay, mamas, this is amazing. I've yet to meet somebody like have a concept to launch in 3 months. You've like taken the blue ribbon on this. Incredible. Who did all of your development?
For the website?
Yeah.
We found a great e-commerce platform. It's called Volusion. And they were the same people who did our website development. I have a degree in kind of online communications, and I have a little bit of a background in graphic design, social media. So I worked with them to kind of tell them exactly what we were looking for as far as web design and the layout of the website. But they did all the graphic work and coding.
Wow, incredible! I'm floored by this. I love this story. I love it. When you got ready to launch, were you anxious or nervous?
I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of us were, and it's more so because we kind of put our finances, our family finances into this.
Yeah.
Both of us. When Peter was laid off, I was a stay-at-home mom. So we kind of, took our savings and said, let's go with it. Yeah. So we were definitely anxious. And I would say the first few months were kind of tough because, as a new website, you don't see as much traffic and as many sales as you think you might get from the beginning. But we did groundwork. We actually started our Facebook page almost right away before the website was launched, and we were able to kind of build up the following before we launched the website.
Good.
That helped. Yep. When we went live, we already had kind of like a little bit of a customer base that we started working with.
That's fantastic. And so, obviously, your husband is your partner. How is that working?
It has its, challenges for sure. But I love it. We kind of, we always work together. We worked at 2 companies together before we started this business. So, I think we work pretty well together. Sometimes it's hard because, you have your disagreements at work, obviously, and then you kind of bring them, to the house. So you have your disagreements, at home, and you bring them to work. But we try to separate the two, But it's like,
It works.
I always joke that our marriage, we've been married for, I think, almost 5 years now. But I always joke that it counts as 20 because we see each other all the time.
Yeah.
Probably much more than most married couples do. So we kind of we've learned to work with it and resolve our differences.
That's
in
really
a
great
fashion.
Yeah. And I want to go back to your development period and how because this 3 months I'm still baffled by it because you said you found your vendors, you got your website, and you had acquired customers, right? You had customer acquisition through your Facebook. So did you outsource any of this work, or were you on top of every single little thing?
Other than developing, doing graphic design and coding for the website, we did everything else ourselves.
Wow.
So finding the vendors and I mean, the vendors part, it was kind of challenging, but because I've shopped for my daughter,
Yeah.
I kind of knew which brands I was looking for, but, in the process, we discovered, other great brands that we just fell in love with. But everything else, we spent probably every single night kind of, working on it and doing the numbers and, looking for vendors and just kind of developing our store policies. I mean, everything that had to be done was done at night when our daughter was sleeping.
Right, right. That's incredible. I love that. Um, and then, with now that you have two little ones, how are you managing your time?
Uh, um, the first year after Emma was born, Emma is my younger one, was really tough because Julia stayed at home with us till she was 2.5. That's when she started daycare, and that's what I wanted for Emma. But eventually we realized that it's just not possible. So it was tough, and I think what helped is that we worked out of the house for the first 2 years, so we had our business there with us. And we could work pretty much any time if we needed to catch up on something at night. We worked at night a lot. We worked early in the mornings, when she was taking naps. But it was definitely tough. I was when she turned 1, we sent her to daycare, and I think we were kind of relieved that we can at least work during the day now, like normal working hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you see did you have a jump in your growth in like year 2 or something that kind of you had to put her into care?
Um, I don't know exactly what happened. I think it takes like a little bit for Google to start kind of, indexing your pages, and, our website started coming up in search results. So our second year, we grew 500%. I mean, it just exploded. We went from, having all of our inventory in our garage with a lot of room left to like having inventory all over the house. I mean, it was everywhere.
Wow.
We had to, hire additional help. We had to kind of figure out a way to manage that. But I think it was mostly because of the, search engines and the fact that we started coming up. And then I was trying to do a lot of promotions to kind of, push our website, and, so it definitely paid off.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I'm just blown away by this. So I would consider you pretty successful if you've grown 500% in the first 2 years, right? Are you still kind of growing at that rate, or have you hit a...
slowed down a little bit. I think, well, one of the factors is, you always have that. I mean, if you're doing something right, you always have this like spurge in your growth, and then it like levels out a little bit, and then it's kind of funny how much our business depends on the weather. So, for example, Easter is a very big selling season for us, but because the spring was so cold and the Easter was so early, we didn't sell as much, of the Easter dresses because people were still wearing their winter clothes.
Interesting.
So it's just, it's very seasonal, and it does depend on the weather a lot. So that was one of the factors, but we're still growing. I mean, we are, it's doing great.
Yeah. And let's talk about your obstacles or challenges that you've kind of come up against.
Well, I think my personal biggest challenge was just juggling my work and my kids and trying to find time for myself. And I think that's what probably most, mommies who they don't necessarily have to, have their own business, but just working moms, I think it's that, kind of really hard to find the right balance between work and, family life. So that was difficult, but over time, you kind of learn to disconnect from work at a certain point and go back to your family life. And then, kind of you come to work and, this is your work time. And then another challenge that we found, we couldn't get any financing from the banks. We couldn't get any loans because we didn't have jobs.
Yeah.
Like the the real jobs, that they want. And it's an online business, so nobody really wants to, invest into that.
Yeah.
Kind of had to, come up with our own finances. So that
So
was,
did you do like a friends and family round, or did you do like a second mortgage or a credit card? Like, how did you guys kind of get over that?
we did had to borrow some money from our family when we, at some point, we moved the business out of the house, and we hired additional people. So at that point, we had to borrow from the family. And then we also, we had a rental condo that we sold, and that went into business. So those were the two kind of, things that helped us out. But yeah, we were lucky that our family believed in us, and yeah.
Fantastic. That would be an obstacle. Yeah, that would be a big obstacle. But it sounds like you've like pushed through it. You've totally persevered.
Yeah.
I love that. And you touched on this kind of, finding your balance, right? And me time, right? As a mom entrepreneur, I know a lot of women face that, like, well, when do I go get a haircut, right? Like, I have to make a dentist appointment, Tatiana. Like, I'm like, when do I have time to go to the dentist? My husband's like, it's been 3 weeks. You need to go to the dentist, right? So how do you kind of schedule that? Do you have a calendar that you share with your husband? Do you schedule out, I'm going to get my nails done, I'm going to the gym? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, at some point we kind of realized that, we were spending a lot of time working, and it's kind of stressful when you work all the time and then you go to caring, for your kids. So what we did was sat down, and now we scheduled our nights off. So he has his night off, and that's the night when I pick up the kids, and I take care of them. I put them to bed, and then he goes off and, he does whatever he wants. He meets with his friends, and then I have my night off. So, and that's the night when, he takes care of the kids basically, and I just go do whatever I need to get done. And then I guess planning, as you said, dentist appointments and, hairdresser and stuff like that, that needs to be planned probably a few weeks ahead of time to make sure that, I have the time to kind of, I give him a notice to kind of plan for it. And, that's how we manage. But our nights off have definitely helped us to kind of manage our stress level and just relax and, have a quiet evening to ourselves.
And I know that, like, I need that time
Oh, yeah.
alone.
I look forward to my nights off.
Yeah, right?
2 more days, and I
Right.
get to relax. Yeah.
And I also really look forward to that time with my husband. Like, really just him and I. No kid, no other responsibilities, right? Like, I think there's something really magical about spending time alone with him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little bit more difficult, but we try. We have one night off when we have somebody to, she comes after the girls go to bed.
Yeah.
She just comes to stay with them, and then we have a few hours to ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's key.
Yeah.
And so, do you think that you've achieved this kind of work balance family life?
I have and I haven't, because I mean, as with any job, you have times when it's extremely busy.
Yeah.
And you just have to dedicate more time to work, or you have times when your kids get sick, or there's something going on at school, so you just kind of have to give up your personal time. So but other than that, when when the workload is kind of average, when my kids are happy and healthy, yeah, I think I figured out for myself.
Yeah.
But everybody probably has their own idea of work and life balance.
Yeah. It takes time. It does take time.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of, this is year 3 or year 4?
We just turned 3,
Okay.
so we're going on our 4th year.
Right. So you've kind of got like 2 more years ahead of you to be safe, right? Like they say 5 years is the number. Like if you can make it to 5,
Yeah, they told me too in the beginning.
Really?
It keeps changing. So yeah, I guess so.
Do you have any kind of fear of failure?
I do.
You
I mean,
do.
it's always an option. I mean, I guess I try not to think about it. I'm pretty, I'm a positive thinker, and I like taking risks and kind of
Nice.
pushing the limits. But I mean, there's always a chance, that something might happen.
Yeah.
Um, but I think right now we're at the point where it's stable. We kind of, we see the money. I guess it's,
Yeah.
the bottom line coming in, and
Right.
it's enough to, pay our employees, pay our rent, kind of support our families. So if everything, keeps working the way it's working now, then, we're doing great. But, you know, you can't kind of predict for the
No.
future.
No. Have you had any failures besides, I don't know. Have you had any failures thus far in kind of building the business?
Um, I wouldn't call them failures. I've made some mistakes.
Ah, okay, let's
Um,
talk about those.
Well, as I said before, I'm kind of a hothead. So when we just started our business, we were looking for different ways to promote it.
Hmm.
And so there were a few things, at least like one thing, where we signed a contract with this. It's a local TV channel, but they promised us a lot of things, and it was pretty costly. So we signed a contract with them, but then what ended up happening is that they ran into issues. They didn't deliver on the promises that they made us. So at the end, we didn't have to pay the entire amount, but we did, I would say, waste a
Yikes.
lot of money on them. So that was kind of, one of the mistakes. So now I'm a little bit more careful when it comes to big financial decisions like that. You always have to, do the groundwork and research and make sure that you're getting, or you will get, what you're promised. So that was one of the things.
Anything else that you can think of?
um, I
I
don't
only
think.
ask because I think this is an overlooked like part of building business, right? And I feel like we learn from all these mistakes, right, or failures. Um, so I like to really kind of talk about those. Anything else?
I had an issue when we started hiring people. I've never had experience with people management, and that's one
Ah,
of the things that I'm trying to learn. It's very difficult.
oh yeah.
So, we ran into a few issues when, people came to the interview, and they looked great, and, they were, they presented themselves in a great way, their resume looked great, but then once we started working with them, they turned out to be, not very good employees. So that's, one of the things that we kind of, learn from, is to be a little bit more careful when selecting people, because, when people come to the interview, they present themselves in the best possible way,
Yeah.
and can't always assume that that's, who they are as employees.
Yeah. That's a great failure. Like that.
Yeah, I wish I had some, management skills and interviewing skills, but that's something that we kind of have to learn as
Right.
we grow and as we, hire more people.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a really good, interesting point too. It's like people, I have hired so many people myself, and I'm so careful. Like I go through such a process with people. I bring them in like 4 times, and I've had partners say, "What are you doing? Like, why are you doing this?" I even have them come in and work with me for a day
Mm-hmm.
before I like hire them, because I've had that happen where I've hired somebody and it's been disastrous. So
Yeah,
it just saves me my kind of time and money, right?
yeah,
In the long run. So yeah,
yeah.
that's a great point. It's a great point. You know what I like about my little jewels is that you have this easy payment plan, right?
Yes.
Like let's talk about that, because this is very intriguing to me. If I had little girls, I would be all over this. So what made you kind of get into this? Because this reminds me of like old school, like when I was growing up, there used to be layaway plan.
Mhm.
So, and we don't hear about layaway plans anymore. So how did you come up with this?
Well, first of all, we always look for customer feedback, and we always try to kind of accommodate if we see that there is a demand for a certain thing, we try to accommodate. So that's something that we saw a need for. Just because of the nature of our business, we are, it's a high-end, high-end clothing. It's pretty pricey. And most of our customers, or a lot of our customers, purchase it for special occasions, for photographs, and they plan it ahead of time. So they have, 2-3 months of planning before the event, or, their scheduled pictures. And so we had customers calling and asking for it, but in the beginning, we just didn't have the manpower to do that.
Yeah.
And so we hired, not too long ago, well, she's been with us, I think, for 6 months now, a new customer service representative, and she's been great. And when she came in, she kind of brought it up because I think she started getting those requests from customers as well. And so she was like, well, why don't we do a layaway plan for people? If somebody only needs their outfit, 3 months from now, why don't give them this time to pay it off? Because they might buy more.
Yeah.
They might just buy, anyways. And so she was the one who kind of, brainstormed it with us and put it together, and she's in charge of it.
Great.
So we overlook it, but it's her responsibility. She talks to customers about those layaway plans, and she's been doing really great with it. It's been a big hit with our customers, especially with all the holidays that are coming up.
I applaud you for that. I think that's brilliant. I don't think there's enough people doing that, because in our culture and society, like, we just don't have the money, right? But over time we have money. So I think it's fantastic that you're offering that service, and you got customer feedback and you listen to your customer. I love that. It's so great.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Really, and another thing, a lot of our customers tell us that we have some mommies who shop and they don't necessarily want their husbands to know how much they're spending, so they have separate accounts, and they would, put a little bit into the account at a time. So it helps them out because they don't transfer like a huge sum of money all the time, at once.
Yep.
Like, a little bit here, a little bit there, and so the husband never knows how much they really
I love it.
Spend.
I love it. That's tricky. Very good. So my last kind of question, Tatiana, is I would love to hear 2 tips that you have. And they could be mom-eccentric or business-eccentric.
I think the most important part of growing our business, and I think in general, if you have kids, is building up your support network. I don't think we would be able to do it without our family and friends. We had to ask, my parents are not here, but we had to ask my husband's parents on multiple occasions to watch the kids because we had to catch up on work. We had to ask our friends to come in and help us pack and ship orders when, we had like, a lot of orders that we didn't expect. So definitely build your support network, because at some point you will need help with the business, with the kids. And I mean, sometimes when, I'm stressed out, I just need somebody to talk to, kind of call and be like, oh, this business is stressing me out, so much work. So definitely have a good support network of people who, will be willing to help you when you need them. And I think another thing is have patience and believe in yourself. It probably will take time for the business to grow and to start bringing the results that entrepreneurs expect. And it doesn't happen overnight. And especially in the beginning, some days you think, oh my God, what did I get myself into? This is not working. And then the next day, you get, great orders and, everything is good again. So definitely have patience and kind of look at the big picture. And, the big picture is what determines your success, not, day-to-day operations, but how are you doing, overall. Yeah. So those would be my 2, tips.
Thank you. Tatiana, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much. And for all you mommies who have little girls, go check out My Little Jewels, right?
Yeah.
MyLittleJewels.com.
Yep.
Yeah, you have really beautiful, beautiful items. I'm just so glad that you contacted me, and thank you again.
Remember what I said, balsamic.com. Life's too short for bad software. Check it out, balsamic.com.